Hey, welcome to Keugrammar one more time. Today I'm going to talk about how James creates flashcards and tests himself regularly. To know the secret, watch the video until the end. James had always dreamed of speaking English fluently. He imagined himself traveling to new places, making friends from different countries, and even working in an international company. But every time he tried to have a conversation in English, he struggled. Words would slip from his memory, and he would freeze, unable to express himself. No matter how many words he tried to learn, he kept forgetting them after a few days. It was frustrating, and he often felt like giving up. One day, while watching a YouTube video about language learning, James came across a simple yet powerful technique, using flashcards. The idea seemed too simple at first, but as he listened to successful language learners talk about how flashcards had transformed their vocabulary, he decided to give it a try. He learned that creating flashcards and testing himself regularly could help him remember words longer and use them confidently in conversations. Excited by this new approach, James sat down at his desk and grabbed a stack of small index cards. On each card, he wrote a new English word on one side and its meaning on the other. He also added an example sentence to help him understand how to use the word in context. After making 10 flashcards, he felt a sense of accomplishment. He promised himself that he would review these words every day. James soon discovered that flashcards were more effective than just reading a list of words. Each time he flipped a card, he had to think and recall the meaning before checking the answer. This process, called active recall, strengthened his memory. He learned that if he studied just 10 flashcards a day, he would review 70 words a week, 300 words a month, and over 3,000 words in a year. This realization motivated him even more. As he continued using flashcards, James found different ways to make them even more effective. Instead of just writing words and meanings, he started using synonyms and antonyms to expand his vocabulary. For example, when he learned the word delicious, he wrote tasty as a synonym and tasteless as an antonym. He also included pronunciation tips, writing the word delicious as delicious, to help himself remember how to say it correctly. To make learning fun, James started drawing pictures on some of his flashcards. For words like ocean, he sketched a small wave to create a visual connection in his mind. He also tried using digital flashcards through apps like Anki and Quizlet, which made it easier to review words on the go. Whenever he had a few minutes, he would open the app and test himself, whether he was on the bus, waiting in line, or just relaxing at home. But making flashcards was just the beginning. James realized that testing himself regularly was the key to truly remembering words. He came up with a simple system to organize his flashcards. Every time he reviewed them, he separated them into 3 piles: easy, medium, and hard. Words he knew well went into the easy pile, which he reviewed once a week. Words he needed more practice with went into the medium pile, which he reviewed every 3 days. The hardest words, the ones he often forgot, were in the hard pile, and he reviewed them every day. To challenge himself, James covered the meanings on the back of the flashcards and tried to remember them within 5 seconds. If he got it right, he moved the card to the next pile. If he struggled, he kept the card in the same pile and reviewed it again. He also said each word out loud while testing himself, which improved his pronunciation. Sometimes, he set a timer for 10 minutes and raced against the clock, making his review sessions more exciting. Testing himself with flashcards soon became a daily habit. Every morning, he spent 10 minutes reviewing the previous day's flashcards. In the afternoon, he created 5 new flashcards with words he had encountered in books, movies, or conversations. In the evening, he tested himself using his 3-pile system, ensuring that he focused more on the words he found difficult. Every weekend, he gave himself a quiz by writing down all the words he had learned that week, checking how many he could remember without looking at the flashcards. As the weeks passed, James noticed a huge improvement in his English skills. He could recall words faster, use them naturally in conversations, and even recognize them in movies and books. He felt more confident when speaking, and his hesitation began to disappear. He also started using his flashcards creatively, turning them into short stories by combining 5 random words from his deck. This made learning more engaging and helped him remember words in context. However, James also learned some important lessons along the way. At first, he made the mistake of creating too many flashcards at once, which overwhelmed him. He realized that learning 10 words well was better than forgetting 50 words. He also saw that reviewing regularly was essential. If he skipped a few days, he would start forgetting words again. Additionally, he made sure to understand the words instead of just memorizing them. He practiced using them in sentences, conversations, and even messages with his English-speaking friends. One day, James met his friend Emily, who was also learning English. He told her about his flashcard method, and she was curious to try it. They decided to test each other using their flashcards, turning it into a fun game. They would pick a random card and challenge each other to use the word in a sentence. Sometimes, they even acted out the meaning of idioms, making learning more interactive. Emily quickly realized how effective this method was and started using it too. 6 months later, James looked back at his progress and was amazed. He had learned over 1,800 new words, and his confidence in speaking English had grown tremendously. He no longer felt nervous in conversations, and he could express himself with ease. Flashcards had transformed his learning journey, and he was excited to keep going. Reflecting on his experience, James realized that the key to learning English was consistency. Creating flashcards and testing himself regularly had made all the difference. What had once felt like an impossible challenge had become an enjoyable and rewarding habit. He encouraged others to try it, knowing that small daily steps could lead to big improvements. With a smile, James picked up a new blank flashcard, ready to write down his next word. He knew that each card brought him one step closer to fluency, and he was determined to keep learning. He had discovered a powerful tool, and he would never stop using it. After all, learning never truly ends, it only gets better with time. Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, have fun with it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more.